Better late than never. Sunday Swings Live 2018. I've had internet connectivity issues. Can everybody hear me okay? Can you hear me okay? Sound okay? Can we comment maybe? Share the show if you're joining in. I'm going to talk some ABCA. Going to talk some softball. Going to talk some Christmas break. I hope everybody is doing well. I haven't seen you in a couple weeks. Last show we did was before Christmas. Took a couple weeks off, just laid low, traveled a lot. Did the on-site training day in Myrtle Beach. Went to the ABCA in Indianapolis. All in all, it was a good Christmas season. I hope everybody had a good Christmas season. I hope you are warm where you are. First off, the ABCA, first thing first, it was cold. Jeez, oh Pete, I don't know how people up north live. It was freezing, but it was a good time. It was so good to put faces with people who follow me, people who watch the show. It was awesome. It was really awesome. It was really cool to see coaches out there seeking answers. I mean, it was overwhelming at times. The amount of people that I talked to, that follow along, that brought good conversation, that are seeking good knowledge. Look, I don't want to prance around like I have all the answers, because I don't. I don't have hardly any of the answers. I think the more you dig, the more you realize that you don't have any answers. Digging is the answer. Just keep digging, just keep learning, just keep growing. That is the answer. The answer is, I don't have it. And it doesn't exist, quite frankly. And so the amount of conversations that we had, the guys, I can't thank the guys from Backspin Tee enough. Their booth was awesome. The crowds we had were awesome. It was really good. Got to catch up with some guys that you talk with on the internet. Eugene Bleeker was there, 108 Performance. Had him on the show before. Was awesome. Patrick Jones did the podcast. He was there. Awesome. Connor Dawson, face-to-face, met up. Got to meet him finally. Great. He's been on the show. Jason Ochart, the guys at Driveline, met with them, talked with them. Awesome. Chaz Pippett, we got to meet him, talk with him. The Hit Tracks Owners Dinner, I did the Point of Impact presentation on a whim at the Hit Tracks Owners Dinner. It went really well. And it was just a really great for 3 days, 2.5 days, 3 days. Part of the title was internal struggle. You know, over the Christmas season, and just the reason that Twitter doesn't bother me, and people said, man, I don't know how you do it on Twitter. I don't know how you take it on Twitter. The reason that Twitter does not bother me and will never bother me is because nobody will be as. Can everybody hear me? I'm getting no comments. Is the sound okay? I'm getting no comments. I'm getting no likes. My internet connection has been terrible. And so I don't know if you can hear me or not. If you can't hear me, I'm going to still talk. People said, I don't know how you can do it. I don't know how you can do Twitter. I don't know how you take it. The truth of the matter is, no one is harder on me than I am of myself. You know, you sit around over Christmas season, you don't get to talk a lot. A lot of the hitters are gone, and there's a ton of self-doubt. Am I doing the right things? Am I talking about the right things? Am I teaching the right things? I constantly battle internal. You know, I got to read a lot of the Twitter. I didn't tweet for a few days, and I just sat around and read and digested video and just trying to really go through and reevaluate. Is this something that we should be talking about with our hitters? Is this something we should be talking about with our hitters? Is this something and it's just a constant internal struggle with, am I doing the best job that I can do? Twitter doesn't bother me because nobody's harder on me than me. Like, nobody self-evaluates me harder than me. Nobody. Like, Twitter doesn't bother me. Nobody bothers me because I self-evaluate every day. I'm literally trying to do the best that I can every single day. And I am not romantic to any cause. Like that's one of the things that I got to talk with. I got to talk with a lot of people. at Indianapolis. And, make no mistake, like, I am not romantic to anyone. It's got to measure correctly, and meaning you've got to reach the top end of your exit velocity. You've got to develop the top end of your exit velocity. You've got to launch the ball up at 20 degrees. You got to measure your swing planes. You got to understand your barrel acceleration. But the overall swing development of that, I'm not romantic about. Like, I don't really care how or why or what feel you have to get that done, as long as that gets done. Like, I'm not, there was a lot of talk of specific guys that we've gone back and forth with on the internet that we won't mention. It doesn't matter. But I think they're fine. If they can get measurably what they're after, I think it's fine. It's just that, I think there were so many good panel discussions that I missed. I missed a lot of good talks just because I was talking to so many different people that would come up to the booth and talk. And I'm not gonna turn away an opportunity to meet somebody that's been following me for a long time, that to go and listen to guys talk. And everybody, the talk of the whole convention was Dan Hefner at Dallas Baptist. He's phenomenal. We've emailed back and forth several times. He has our weighted bat program. I don't know how much he uses, he doesn't use, but he purchased our program, and he's just trying to find information. Jason Ochart, Jeff Albert panel I heard was really, really good. I tried to go see it. I just couldn't hear it. So I went back to the booth and just started talking to people again. The technology there was great. I got to see the Rapsodo. I got to see the Rapsodo. I got to see the 4D motion capture. I talked to the Modus people. The new Diamond Kinetics app, if you haven't seen it, is going to be a game changer. Let's stop there and talk there for just a minute. The new Diamond Kinetics app, if you haven't seen it, is going to track, using the camera on your phone, is going to track the ball. Going to give you exit velocity, going to give you launch angle. They say it's within 1 to 2 miles an hour of the hit tracks. That's a total game changer for all of the people in our player development programs doing a weighted bat training. Just another layer of measurement to track and assess your project process, because, quite frankly, exit velocity matters a ton. It matters a ton. And if you aren't training to develop it, if you aren't measuring it, if you aren't tracking, if you aren't assessing it, then I'm really not sure at this point in 2018 what you're doing. Understand this is a conversation that we had a lot. You have to build the engine. You have to build the engine to go. Like, you have to build the engine to go 90, 95, 100 miles an hour, whatever it is. But after you build the engine, building adaptability and variability in your swing becomes hugely important. We don't just put balls on the tee and hit nukes off the tee and just call it exit velocity development. Like, there's real variability going on. Our underload, overload, inload, knob load, short bat, long bat, side toss, front toss, angle toss. It's all to build a better, more adaptable engine. Once you build the engine to go the speed you need it to go, building the engine to then adapt to the environment, to the situation. In order to do that, you have to challenge the environment. How do we challenge the environment? We're constantly looking at ways that we can challenge hitters to produce more variability, more adaptability, better engine. And we're always constantly challenging the engine to go faster. We want the guys to go 95. We want them to go 98. We want them to go 100. We want them to go 105. We're constantly challenging them to get stronger, be more dynamic, swing with more intent, build a better sequence, build a better kinematic sequence. All these things go into this, but I understand at the same time you have to build adaptability. Back to the Diamond Kinetics app. The Diamond Kinetics app is now going to allow you to measure your engine, track your progress even better than you are now. The people that are in the online Velo Lab player development programs, that are building their own weighted bats, that are doing the weighted bat training, that are seeing their gains in barrel acceleration and barrel speed, are now going to be able to track the ball. It's going to be awesome. I keep getting tweets about people at ABCA that got the flu. You guys are going to have to toughen up. I think Kyle got the flu. Lampros just tweeted he's got the flu. John Lampros, another guy, I left him out. I'm sure there'll be guys I'll leave out that I met. I met Lampros, awesome dude. Again, ABCA was exactly what I needed after about 2 weeks of just sitting around and beating myself up over, am I doing the right things? Am I training players? Am I doing everything that I can do to help players become the best versions of themselves. If you're just tuning in, my name is Chad Longworth. If we met at the ABCA, thank you for coming by. If you watched the show and you came to the ABCA, thank you for coming by. It was awesome. It was great. It was a really, really, really good experience. Better than I expected. I never know what I'm getting into when I'm getting into that environment. I don't really always know how people receive my work or how people receive my tone or sometimes my sarcasm. Maybe sometimes I take my sarcasm too far. I've done that at times this year. I'm really, really sorry. I'm going to try to do better. I'm just going to try to add value. I'm going to try not to go back and forth as much. I got a lot of feedback on that. I'm just trying to make points. The only way I know how to talk, and I told people this at the ABC 100 times, the only way I know how to talk is right down the middle. I just don't. I'm not smart enough. I don't know how to tell 100 different stories. I just talk right down the middle as supported by data and numbers. That's it. Like I don't know how else to tell it. Like I can't tell it any other way. And so if it's offensive or if it's too upfront sometimes, I'm sorry for that, but it's the only way I know how to be. I only talk down the middle, and that's the only story I know, because when I show up to the ABCA and I've talked out of the sides of my mouth the whole year, then what's my value? And so people appreciate that. The people that got that, the people that came by, really, really good. There were some coaches there that had sons. I want to tell this one story. Coach came by, got an 11-year-old son. He said, me and my son used to fight a lot. We went to the field. We would disagree. We would fight. And now it's so much better because we've got our weighted bats, we've got our program, we've got our record board, we've got our measurements, and we just go enjoy the process. And that was the most refreshing story probably of them all, is now a dad and his son are able to just enjoy practicing. It's not the dad and the son going back and forth about the internal mechanics of the son's swing. Like, son, here's 2 or 3 things, let's go chase nukes. And it's just really, really, it turns the process into something that, A, it's going to be hard, but B, it's going to be a much, much, much more fun process in just searching for your own answer. You have to search for your own answer because, quite frankly, the people that claim to know everything actually know nothing. I don't claim to know anything, and I know nothing. Everybody's individual story is different. What I know is this, that you have to build the engine, you have to measure the engine, you have to track the process, you have to build the adaptability and the variability into your practice, and then you have to go and do it. There's only one way. Internal cues, internal process is just not. It's not the way to go. It's stressful on the relationship between player and coach. It's stressful on the relationship between coach and coach. It's just stressful in all the relationships when it's all you've got your wagon hitched to is your own internal process, and you're trying to shove it down other people's throats. And quite frankly, it's not necessary. It's not necessary. Just build these systems, follow this programming, develop your motor to go faster, to produce more dynamic results, and then train variability, adaptability, and look out in the spring, because the people that have done this are going to be really, really, really pleased with what happens, because I'm not devaluing the process of guru guys or lessons or whatever, but like, you don't need that much internal process. You don't. You need 2 or 3, 4 pieces of internal process at most that have to do mostly with loading parameters. Once you get that, try to find your own best swing. And that's the best advice I can give you. That's the best advice that I gave people at ABCA. That's the best advice that I can give anyone, is just understand 3 or 4 internal things that have to do with loading, and then go build the engine, because it's really, really, really fantastic when you start talking to people and seeing people, and they're getting this, without me being there, they're getting the same gains that we are getting in-house, measured and tracked with data, not somebody's opinion, not anecdotal. They are getting real measurable results, which is all development is about, because in 2018 you can measure what you know. You can measure and show and prove what you know. So again, it was great. That was awesome. Let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk softball. There's some softball people there that came by the booth. It was really, really good, really refreshing to see softball at the baseball convention because, quite frankly, softball players, and I continue to say this, are done the greatest injustice of all players, and that is hard to say because a lot of baseball players have done a lot of injustices, but softball, there were probably 5 to 10 softball coaches at a 7,000 coach convention. They should have been there. You know, if you're a softball coach, come to the ABCA. It will really, really, really help you to pick the minds. If you don't want to pick my brain, fine. Go by and see Ochart, Dawes, Bleeker, Chaz, like all these guys that you read their stuff on the internet. They were all there to see. And so the softball coaches that came by, we got talking softball development. Here's what I will say. And if you're softball, listen to me say this. Develop your motor to go 65 miles an hour. If you can get the ball to go out at 65 miles an hour with that hot bat is not hard to do. You got to build your weighted bat system, but if you can develop 1 through 9 hitters that can hit the ball 65 miles an hour, you get them to arrive at 5 to 7 degree swing planes, measured by Diamond Kinetics, you're going to win a ton of softball games. You're going to hit a lot of home runs, and you're going to score a lot. You're going to earn runs in buckets. We got talking about top end pitching. A lot of softball games against top end pitchers, and the University of Florida is one of these. Is the lost the national championship in 1-run games. You've got to send 9 players to the plate that have the potential to change the game in one swing. If you can do that against plus pitching, a walk, and now somebody else goes to the plate and in one swing can change the game, you got a chance to win those games. You've got a chance to beat pitchers. But if you send 6 players to the plate, then you have to slap a single and walk and slap another single and then walk, and you got to do all these things to score runs. In those type of games, you cannot win them. You just can't win them. You can't win softball games against those plus pitchers if you have to string together 3 or 4 or 5 offensive events in an inning. You cannot do it. It's hard to do in baseball. It's darn near impossible to do in softball because the plus pitchers are so much better that one swing can change a game. The value of one swing in softball is huge, especially in those games. You've got to develop your hitters to go their exit velocity to go 65 miles an hour. Once you get to 65 miles an hour, if you launch it high enough, it's going to go out. It should be against the law how easy it is to get a good hitter to 65 miles an hour and then get them to get it up in the air because the bats are insane. I don't know how to get more softball people to understand that. But 65 miles an hour exit velocity is your number. Get there, and then you'll be able to go. Then you'll be able to go. You've built the engine to go. You'll be able to go. And so, I don't know how to reach more softball people. There are softball people out there. It's a growing community of softball people that are figuring that out. The value of one swing in a softball game is huge, especially against good pitching. I know growing up, softball and baseball, and they're growing up is a lot what works at 9 or 10 or 11. As you get older, it's not going to work anymore. So training to be good at the level you're at is not a valuable thing because once you get to the next level and you're not any good, then you're going to quit. You're going to quit. I talked about that with some travel ball coaches at the Hit Tracks Owners Dinner. The guy made a great point. He said, if you want to know who's 12, and this is a good point for all guys that are working with baseball, and baseball specifically, because from 12 to 13 the field gets bigger. Here's your number. The guy said, if you want to know who's going to be good from 12 to 13, look at slugging percentage. Guys that have high slugging percentage when they're 12 are going to be good when they're 13 because that means they can hit the ball in the outfield. If their slugging percentage is low when they're 12, they're not going to be very good when they're 13. They're probably going to quit when they're 13 because they can't hit the ball in the infield, and when they can't hit the ball in the infield, they can't get any hits, and if they can't get any hits, they get frustrated and they quit, and that's the truth. So think about that for a minute. You spend 10, 11, 12 trying to train to be good at the level you're at, and then by the time you get to the big field and you're 13, you can't hit in the outfield anymore. You're not any good. The infielders are better. There's more time to field ground balls on the bigger field. More balls are cut off. You're thrown out at first base because the bases are longer. You are in trouble if you do that. Now, you have to train. The guys that can hit the ball 180 to 210 feet they're 12 can hit it 180, 210 feet when they're 13, and that lands in the outfield. And you got base hits. And so Again, ball in the air, ball on the ground argument, thank God, is I'm not saying it wasn't at ABCA, but it's shifting so much more in favor of guys got it. There's too much information for you not to. And if you're paying attention and you're coaching guys then or girls, then I think we're getting to a place where people are realizing that you got to hit the ball over the infield. And so hitting the ball over the infield's got real value. Yeah, don't train to be good at the level you're at. Yeah. Train to be good for the next level. If you train to be good at the next level, you're probably going to be good at the level you're at. So the point of just training to be good right now when you're 12 on the 12-year-old field, you're not going to be good next year, and then good luck for the rest of your career because you're going to be behind. And once you get behind, if you dig your heels in the ground and you become stubborn, you're out. You're out. You're passed up. It's happening right now. It's funny because it's happening right now. We're getting ready to start high school practice in Virginia in the next month. The guys that we had that are now filtering back around their peers are like, oh, crap. These are real dudes now. Like, these are real dudes that are throwing the ball way harder than the last time I saw them. They're hitting the ball way harder than the last time I saw them. And it is going to be phenomenal when that happens, when the people that join the online program, they get back to their team and it's like, oh my, you're a completely different kid. What did you do? Just built some weighted bats and swung the bat dynamically and learned to just hit. That was a great tweet by, I don't know if you saw Jason Ochart or somebody, I think it was a quote from Ochart, is we've become so overconsumed with swing video, swinging the bat that we forgot to train the hitter. And you got to train the hitter. Not just train the hitter, you got to train the hitter on the individual basis. You got to train players to hit, not swing, hit. That's why I say, and to kind of give you backstory on the backspin tee, we don't hit baseballs in the cage off the tee. Ever. Never. We never put a baseball on a tee and hit it. What we do with the backspin tee is we use the backspin tee loaded from the bottom to do our weighted ball overload bat drills. High school players take a 50 to 60 ounce bat, depending upon the day. They go through their overload progression to try to mechanical pattern their swing. They go through a little bit through their internal process here, trying to feel out their kinematic sequence so that when they get to the cage and the ball, once we get to baseballs, we get them moving, we are hitting. We are training to hit. Okay, we are going to train dynamically and we're going to train to hit. And so that's what we do. That's our process. That should be your process. I think the accepted methods have become... It became too swing oriented. We got fascinated with the swing and we forgot to hit. And I think data gets us back to the middle of, we've got to train the hitters to hit, we've got to measure outcomes, we've got to track progress, and we've got to allow them to grow and find themselves within the parameters and the framework. We've got to grow and allow them to grow. And so, again, if you are, was it notable that was it noticeable? I would say by and large, yes. I would say it was by and large, yes, noticeable. I encourage a lot of people. We were right next to the blast motion people, which I'm not a blast motion user. I'm going to get a blast motion just so I can learn it. I'm a Diamond Kinetics user just because I think the max acceleration number is really, really important. But I'm going to learn the blast motion because I have clients that have the blast motion. I think blast, I think Diamond Kinetics. A lot of people were at Soto. Hit Tracks had a good weekend. There was a lot. We had Hit Tracks in arcade, so I was able to engage exit velocity, launch angle, correlations with people in our booth. Like, it was really, really good. It was really, really good. I don't know how long it'll take everybody to get there, but there was a good majority of people, college coaches, high school coaches, youth coaches, parents, players that came by the backspin tee booth. We talked. It was very, very, very good. The flight scope, I did not. I walked by the flight scope booth. They didn't have the Mevo. I'm not interested in the Strike because I think if you can buy the Strike, you need to buy the new Hit Tracks. The new Hit Tracks is going to be an outdoor unit. It and the Strike are almost the identical price, and the Hit Tracks is such a better hardware than the Flight Scope Strike that they're not even in the same world. And so if you can spend $18,000 on a Flight Scope Strike, you should spend another $1,000. And I think the new Hit Tracks is going to retail at $19,000. It's going to be an outdoor unit. It's going to attract spin. It's going to do a lot of great things. I got one. I sold my Hit Tracks at ABCA. I sold my big unit. I'm going to get the new smaller one that's going to do a lot more stuff. It's going to be a lot more easy for me to pack up and go do on-site clinics. Got some on-site clinics planned. Hopefully going to South Bend, Indiana at the end of this month. Hopefully going back to Detroit, going back to Myrtle Beach, going to Pennsylvania. If you want me to come do a clinic for you, reach out. We'll set it up. We'll come. We'll chase nukes and rake and have a good time and try to help you get better. Try to lay out the programming. If you're unfamiliar with what I do, the on-site demo and the training clinics, I come to your high school. I'll come to your facility. I'll come to your travel ball team, private facility, whatever. If you've got a cage and you want to chase nukes, I'll come to you. We lay out the weighted bat programming. I bring the Hit Tracks. We set the Hit Tracks up. We get measurements, exit velocity, launch angle, measurements on you. We use the Diamond Kinetics. We get swing numbers on you. We track and assess those things so you can get started. Weighted bat program. The data cage. I'm trying to come to Jacksonville, so we're trying to set something up in Jacksonville with the guys at Data Cage. I'd really like to come down there. I would really, really, really like to come down there. So. Again, if you're in Florida or in South Georgia and you want to hit, let's get a date and let's do this thing in Jacksonville with the guys at Data Cage. He's got a flight scope. I'm not knocking flight scope. If you've got a flight scope, great. But if you're going to buy one of the two, I encourage you to buy the Hit Tracks, the new Hit Tracks unit that's going to be an indoor-outdoor unit. It's really, really, really good. And I'm not paid by Hit Tracks. I'm going to be doing some traveling, hopefully with Hit Tracks. They mentioned going to Taiwan. If we go to Taiwan, that will be awesome. We're going to chase nukes in Taiwan. I don't know if you can say that in Taiwan. You might be able to, but we're going to chase them. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter. Data is data. And if you're using it, good for you. If you've got flight scope, great. Keep using it. I'm just merely talking about if you're trying to if you're on the fence about buying one or the other, I would encourage you to buy the Hit Tracks. The live ball in the air is so good. It's such a fun it adds so much fun to an otherwise hard problem, which is the development of dynamic swing patterns. It's tough. It's hard work. I'm not sitting here saying if you just build weighted bats you're going to get better. Like, it's work. You got to do it. But the data, the feedback, the chasing of the exit velocity, the guy with his kid that had the record board, he sent me a picture of the record board. They've got the record board up. The kid chases his own records. It is awesome. It is awesome. We've got a massive record board. If you don't have a record board up, you need to have a record board up. You need to get some measurable feedback. Buy the Diamond Kinetics sensor. Get on that. February 1, the app update is coming out that's going to do exit velocity, launch angle through the camera on your phone. You won't even have to have the sensor. It's going to do it with the camera on your phone. It's going to be awesome. I encourage you to get the sensor. I encourage you to get the app. Diamond Kinetics doesn't pace me either. I think Blast, I didn't look at the Blast, but I think the Blast is going to do the exit velocity launch angle. Hit Tracks is going to have an exit velocity launch angle that's going to work with your camera on your phone. There are some great things happening for you in the world of tech that I'm super excited about. That was the most thing I was excited about going to the ABC, was to see the tech. Like I told people when I got there, the people, the guru people, I was excited to shake their hand and meet them finally. Ochart, the driveline guys, great. Dawes, great. Bleeker, great. Chad's great. Lamprote's great. What I was most excited about was seeing the new tech. The 4D motion capture was awesome. The swing catalyst ground force stuff was incredible. It's both refreshing and frustrating that I don't make more money to be able to buy these things, to do these things. but I'm going to really, really make an effort to try to gather more membership in the Velo Lab Online so we can get the 4D motion capture, because the 4D motion capture is something that we need to add to the on-site training days. We need to be able to measure kinematic sequence. We need to further refine the feedback process, and that's what data is so great about. Is it really ties up the feedback process. Like, I'm not guessing at this thing. Like, I know your hips are late. Like, I know your shoulder rotation is not. I know your barrel gets away from you early. The 4D motion capture, the 6 sensor 4D motion capture was incredible. It's about $1,700. So again, we got to get memberships rolling in the Velo Lab Online. We've got the monthly membership. We've got the 3-month membership. We've got the 1-year membership now, $20 a month. Companies are investing money in allowing us to make a living helping players reach their dreams, for sure. For sure. And so it was a great experience. There's a lot of great tech. The tech is moving better. The Diamond Cadets baseball is going to be really good. It's going to track spin rate with the baseball. It's going to track velocity with the baseball. It was a really good thing. Cameras are getting better. Feedback is getting better. Training is getting better. That's what I said at the Hit Tracks owners meeting. It's like, the data is cool and the reports are cool. But the challenge is for us as coaches is to take the data and really map it for the player. Because quite frankly, I did the point of impact talk at the Hit Tracks Owners Dinner. I'm not sure. I know my players are not really concerned with that report. It's just, it helps me with specific focus points within their constraint drills. And so when I see a kid who's got late, he's late with his swing plane, he's not on plane early enough, we can really focus in and say, look, dude, like we can just show him, like, look, right here, you either hit, the little backside 40-degree launch flare at 75% of your exit velocity, or you barrel it up at 3 degrees, and we got to get your barrel on plane earlier. Here's the video that goes with it. Here's how we're going to do it. Here's what I need you to focus on when you got your overload bats. So you're doing your motor, your movement remapping stuff, and you go from there. That's what they want to know. They want to know, okay, that's cool. What do I need to do to fix it? Well, focus on stabilizing your back arm against your turn, and go chase nukes. Like, that's what we say. I think that may have been, I hope that becomes the phrase of ABCA 2018 is chase nukes. Like, everybody that came by the booth, what do you do, man? We chase nukes every day. Like, we try to hit the ball harder and harder every day. How did your lead tape in-load experiment, any dense handle solutions for any other end handle solutions for youth bats? Yeah, the lead tape was fine. Lead tape works fine. Tape over it. You don't, in the youth world, you don't need that much weight in the end. You need to stay within 20%. So that much lead tape is not a problem. Just around the end. Knob load it with washers. Tape washers on the knob. You got end load, knob load. You're good. You don't really need it for youth bats. There is actually a free weighted bat program on my website now. It's an 8-week weighted bat program. If you've got the skills bat, if you've got the axe bat, if you follow along and you've built your own weighted bats, there's a free program there. It's very basic. It's not even anything we do in house. It's just the program that had been studied. Dustin Lynn posted it. It's in all the research. I just posted it on the website so people can find it, because people ask me for stuff like that all the time. Ours is way more in-depth. It's got way more retest results behind it, but that one works because that was the one that Coop Durin used when he did the studies. That's the one that's been repurposed over and over again. It's just people ask me that all the time, and I finally just put that free 8-week training program on my website. If you go to my website, sign up, put your email at the bottom, it'll email to you, and you're off and running with some weighted bat programming. The one that we use, that we test and train in-house, is better. But if you've got anything, do that. If you've got anything, do that. You don't have to pay me for the research and programs that I write. You can use that one, or you can use anyone's. Just do it, and then measure it, and you'll be better. Do it and measure it. That is cool. Data without a movement map and or a a way to improve the data is useless, pretty much. Like, it's pretty much useless. Like, if you're just getting it just to get it, you need to know how to make it better. You need to know how to make it better, and that's what we do. More and more coaches are accepting that. More and more instructors are accepting that. The ones that are not are just dying out. They will die out because people are starving. The general populace is more and more is starving for that information because they see the value in it. They see the opportunity that if they don't use it, their kid is going to get passed up. And if your kid gets passed up, then what are you doing? Like, if if your kid wants to be good and you're not giving him all the information that you can give him, then why trust somebody? What's the price? What's the price of trusting someone's anecdotal opinion of your child's development if they are wrong? What's the price? Measure it. If the coach is too proud to measure it and help you get it right, because you can't be wrong when you use numbers. Numbers are black and white. They're either improving or they're not. They're either getting better or they're not. Like for somebody to say, well, your swing looks better. Well, that's cool, but is it actually better? What's the price for your child or your team if you're anecdotally wrong? Because people are. And you need to accept that. I'm internally hard on myself. I'm harder on myself than anyone ever will be. But I don't want to be wrong. And so I use as much numbers as I can to make sure that we're getting it right. As right as we can get it. If we can help guys develop their velocity to acceptable levels, if we can develop exit velocity, if we can develop adaptability, if we can develop all those things and do the best job we can do, I'm okay with that. So, are there any questions? Are there any concerns? Are there any regards? Are there any questions about the ABCA? Indianapolis was freezing. It was net minus 20 degrees. I hope it warms up there. It was cold. Man, it was cold. That was coming from a guy that got home today and it was 20, and I thought it felt warm outside. So, any questions, concerns, or regards? I'm glad to be back. We'll be back every Sunday, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Sunday Swings Live. We'll get back on track on Tuesday. I've got an idea cooking for Sunday Swings next week. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but if I can make this happen, it's going to be really, really cool. We might do our first on-site Sunday Swings Live. So stay tuned, follow along. My name is Chad Longworth. This is Sunday Swings Live. If you missed this is going to be a podcast also. And so if you're catching this on the podcast, I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you watching at C-Long Baseball on Instagram, at C-Long Baseball on Snapchat. Follow along. Send questions. Measure, track, assess your training. It is the best way to go. Softballers, exit velocity 65 miles an hour. Understand your swing planes. Measure them with bat sensors. Get a diamond kinetic sensor. The new update is going to be a game changer. Weighted bat training. We're getting into full swing here. 2018. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for everyone. I'm excited for the VLO Lab Online clients that have trusted us to do in their training. We got new stuff coming. Our softball, we're through our first retest in our softball weighted ball program, velocity development programming. I'm super pumped about. It was really, really good tonight. And so I'm excited to hopefully be getting that out in the next 4 to 8 weeks probably. We'll probably run it for 3 months and make sure that we're continuing to progress the way we've progressed with our weighted baseball training. Arm health is important, so don't just take weighted balls out and start chucking them into your yard. Make sure you are on a arm care and recovery program. Be responsible about it. Be as responsible as you can be. Lift weights, weighted bats, weighted balls, and deadlifts. Rinse and repeat daily. Thank you for watching. I will see you Tuesday on 2 Minute Tuesday. Hopefully I'll get that done. Hopefully I won't get too busy. Sunday Swings Live. Thank you.